your office, wait for the next issue to happen. My expectation for them is to be out in the building, out in the classrooms, working with students.
Ron, you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm for it.
I'm torn because we gotta come up with money. And where else do we get it from? There's a tax increase of 0.22%. And that's gonna be money that's gotta be raised. And that's just for this next year, correct?
Yes, this would be just for we would reassess.
We would reassess. And it could go up, and there potentially, if you're asking for money this round, you're gonna be asking money for the next round, and then you're gonna ask money for the next round. Can you make it work with what you got?
Well, as I said, no, I can, but it won't be efficient and it won't be effective. And the other side, the numbers will go up.
That's
So
that's what I need to hear.
that's
I
the
need to
game.
hear what impact
Right.
will have if we kick the can down the road and we do not act on it now. What is it gonna do to us next year? And I need to understand that.
Right. So students will not receive the behavioral support they need, that we can't support them in the building, which means outside placements will go up, which means the counselors will be spending the time doing behavioral things instead of working with students on careers and academics and all of those areas.
Other places in the budget or the service budget that could cut or money moved around to do this?
Probably not. We're about slim and trim, where we could be at, but that's Carolyn's.
You probably presented this as low as you could.
I would say we've looked at this for many months, and we're pretty much where we're at. That's why it has the tax increase. If we could accommodate it, we would try to.
Dr. Fields, you have said before that the level of program has helped discipline the school, yes? Or to curtail disciplinary problems in the school.
Yes, curtail issues, yes.
And so the regular classroom then operates more efficiently.
Correct.
Students' learning time is not interrupted by behavioral problems from other students who need to see a behavioral specialist then, correct?
Correct.
Right. And that's where I fall. I think
I understand.
that, yeah, I think the effect on the classroom is important. I had brought out those numbers before, earlier, a couple months ago, and I do remember. I think that's why it's needed. It is, point to, but anyway.
I just want to caution this committee that we push this forward. We're going to have to address it again and again. And, we have really got to figure out because,
I agree with you. In some ways, I don't think this should be the school's responsibility. I think it should be the state or the county's responsibility. But they're not stepping up to the plate. And in the end, we're the ones that run the school. And because they're not supplying what we need to help the kids who need the help, I mean, we still need to have, as you said, this affects the classroom. So I think, it falls into our lap to be the responsible ones and take care of it. I would, petition, the commissioners and the governor and your local reps. I think this is not a problem that's just in Middletown. This is a problem countrywide, in fact, worldwide. I've talked about the book, Righteous Generation, multiple times now in meetings, and he has said, Jonathan Haidt has digression there, but yeah.
It's not that we don't want to address it, it's just that it's gotta be paid for somehow.
Agreed, yeah, I know.
And, you know, we got residents in this district, it's mostly residential homes and property and school taxes that are paying this. And so,
So if I may, that $40,000 would be 2 outside placements.
Say that again, if we sent
If
children.
I send 2 students out, that's $40,000.
Thank you.
okay, any other thoughts?
How much do we spend on mental health compared to other districts in the county?
Compared to other districts. That I'm not sure. I do know that we, I believe we are the only ones that have in-house mental health therapy services.
Yeah. we'll put
However,
that-
for example, I think Red Lion, they contract out with a company who has a clinic on site. I do know that because I saw that on their website. But I know in Adams, like in our little county, none of my local school districts have that service. They utilize other, like True North or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. We did something really good in Littlestown.
We did. Well,
Okay.
we were playing with Essers too.
Right.
you know,
We're
so,
fortunate.
yeah.
Okay, so it needs to move forward, but next year we need to really know.
We're gonna go around.
Yeah, let's go around. Nick?
I agree, it needs to be moved forward. You know, and you and I are gonna disagree on this. I don't think we're gatekeepers when we prevent the rest of the board from voting on things. I think we refine things and send them forward to the rest of the board. And I think this is an issue that is important enough for all of us to voice our opinions on, not just the 3 of us. That's my opinion, but, you know, I would send it forward for sure.
Hearing all the conversation, it does need to move forward.
So with that though, there's the ask with the percent increase, is that something we want, we'll just, I guess, go into the budget portion of it, so just keep that in mind, 0.22%, so we'll circle back around to that. So the budget adds, here's the budget, so the ads that we had from the last time I presented are the supplementals, the event workers, the property and liability insurance, so 11,000 for that. The board approved the PSBA to start July 1, so that was an ad. That was not previously budgeted. The SSO that we just did for option 1, move forward, is going to be grant funded, so it's no impact next year. We'll look again, 25, 26, what we want to do moving forward. And now mental health, that decision to move forward does have an additional impact to that 42,000. So that jumps into the conversation of what the budget looks like. So right now, prior conversations with and presentation to the board, I have a 1% tax increase in there for ACTI. That's what was earmarked, it's been said, we're going to mark that for ACTI. Now with those budget adds, they come at a cost of that 0.25 increase, and then the mental health services 0.22 to accommodate. So based off of those informations, we would need almost the 1.47, 1.5%. Is that what the committee then wants within the budget packet to present forward?
I'm good with that.
It would be a 1.5% increase.
So I'm gonna continue with my theme tonight, I'll be the voice of dissent. I'm gonna say, no, I think that
Just
it's, we had a 5-4 vote, or we had a first vote budget fail last month. With an additional 0.5%, we might, in putting ourselves in a position where we might not be able to pass a final motion this month.
So I'll just answer that as, what's in the budget packet will reflect 1.5. The board can then say what they want as a final, like, vote on a final percentage number. This is something to have a final packet to present to vote on. You guys have discussion at the work session to change that, to refine that, to maybe change it, and then the voting session to do the option again. So you have time and discussion time to do that. I just wanted to have, like I said before, I had to have a packet, some number to push forward, and seeing 2 head nods, so 1.5 and a no. So I will present, I'll have 1.5 budget for the work session for review.
I'm normally not too difficult.
Well, I'm just looking around, I see Brian shaking his head, I see Steven shaking his head, so this number's only reflected 1%. I'll have updated information come Monday. So any other questions on the budget impact or budget aspects of anything?
Well, just an opinion, but we did talk about the homestead farm act.
We'll have that upcoming.
Okay.
Yep. Just wanted on the stuff we covered so far, and then we'll. Okay. So the next would be the homestead farmstead. So what happened is each taxpayer would see an additional savings per the state increasing their allotment of property taxes, which we all call homestead farmstead. What that does for our district is 70% of the taxpayers qualify for homestead farmstead, and with that, at a median home price, or I should say average home price of $280,000, that number equates to a 1.32% tax increase. So what that means is somebody that has an assessed value of $280,000, they would pay the same exact amount of taxes that they did prior year at a 1.32% tax increase. So that's just what homestead farmstead does. And
Basically, you're saying that the homestead will kick in, so really is gonna lower the actual taxable.
by the amount shown on the screen. That would
Gotcha.
be, so if we did nothing, so we did 0%, a taxpayer would see a reduction from their prior year of $49.63.
Do you want the last, the screen's a good screen. Do you want the last screen to be 1.5 now rather than 1.32? I mean, there's not that much difference.
It might be a penny or two. You can see as this goes up, it just, pennies or so it might be 58 cents.
Only
or
for
so.
your discussion purposes.
That'd be a bad idea.
0,
Workshop.
1, and 1.5.
I'll have a document for that. Any other questions?
Any other thoughts?
So the rest of the presentation is pretty much what we've been doing, just a reminder that 1% is 180,000, which was towards the ACTI portion, ACTI authority. Budget timeline, as we discussed, is on the June 10th work session will be a 1.5% tax increase. We'll have your ability to discuss on that and then have something to be approved on the June 17th meeting. And the last item I have is just informational. The change orders, we had just a couple change orders, and just want to highlight we did have one credit, which is not usually what happens, but we did see a credit. So we're about just shy of 10% of what we had budgeted for contingency. So little win on the end.
All right, is there any other business? Anybody up? On new business, I'd just like to announce that on August 6th and September 4th, 5 p.m., we'll have a finance property committee on those dates just to set aside. And then also we have a proposal for a professional services baseball, softball, practice fields, feasibility study.
So, actually today, we got a quote back for services that you guys tasked us, Victor and I, with to do athletic study. So this would address the baseball, the softball, and all auxiliary grass fields is what is shown in their scope of work. So it's all encompassing of baseball, all encompassing of softball, all encompassing grass fields. And from their feasibility, we can then tailor what services we want to provide after that feasibility study. So the feasibility study, if I remember correctly, we looked at similar service about a year ago, just for the baseball, not encompassing the other ones for about, it was about 3,800, 3,800. So this, to accommodate all fields, in my opinion, is a pretty good price for this. But that would be very similar to what we did with the construction project. They would look at all of our facility, you'll see what would be good to implement or change. Just so where the fee is on the second page, in the middle, it's $48.20.
Back.
All right, the back of the second page.
Back is.
Back in a second. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, a little six something.
That's the first page.
All right.
Second page, back in the first page. So it's $48.20 to do those services. These would be capital reserve funds, because this would end up being a capital reserve project. So this would have, we have capital reserve funds to do these types of projects, and this would fall underneath that scope of work. So
What's your ask?
the ask would be to go forward with this. My question is, does it need to go to the full board? So that would be the ask, is to go to the full board, that would then approve this, so that we can start the work that they recommend. So,
I'll be agreeable on our last item.
Right?
Yeah.
okay, so we'll see this exact thing on the agenda, and then we'll move forward once it's executed.
Okay,
That concludes.
that concludes everything.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.